So we're here today with Margaret, who's been a member with Fuerte Fitness for about a year and a half, and she's been participating in monthly personal training sessions with her trainers at Fuerte Fitness, and we're just going to talk to her a little bit about her experience. And so my first question is, what brought you to Fuerte Fitness in the first place?
Okay. Well, I actually sort of came more by chance than anything else. I had been overweight for like almost all my adult life. Came from a family of people who overate and, really liked to eat, and people didn't exercise. And I sort of had a little exercise in my life, like I like to walk and I like to swim, and it really wasn't enough, but I was like, I can't stand, I tried to join a gym in my 20s, and they were like, if you loved yourself, you would be here every day, and it was a 3-day free thing, and I was like, you guys freak me out. So, but I was at an auction, and there was a 1-month membership, and no one had bid on it, and this is in my neighborhood, and I thought, that would be okay, I could do that, because I like to exercise a little more than I did when that last gym experience freaked me out. So I came, and it worked for like the first time in my life. And I was like, this is just another activity. Maybe if I just do something, even if it's hardly anything, but it's something I'm doing instead of eating, that would be good. So I just sort of came out on this very no expectation kind of attitude, but maybe it would be interesting.
Great.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. So another question that I have for you is, what surprised you about joining Fuerte Fitness?
Well, as it turned out, I was really surprised when I discovered that I liked working on the machines, that I liked that I had the tolerance to do it on the elliptical and on the bicycle, and that I actually liked that I had somehow grown up a little bit and like saying, okay, do it for 5 more minutes. Okay, do another mile. Okay, see if you can get it a little faster. And I started to like to sweat. So I was sort of like, oh, I didn't know I could be one of those people who liked it. It's sort of like, it's like, okay, try it, it's probably not bad, but it's like, I liked it. And then I got very surprised that change actually happened, because nothing had ever really been successful before, but I liked coming in, and then when I came in more, I was spending less time overeating, and I did feel more energy, and actually I was surprised to discover that my appetite changed, that I could feel full sooner and notice it instead of just sort of like eating, not being related to how much food I had eaten already. So that was really amazing, although that didn't happen right away. But what happened right away was that I did exercise, and I did start to lose some weight, and then I also started to grow muscles, which had never happened before. And so I sort of like, oh, there's a muscle there. There's a muscle there. Oh, that's so cool. So all that positive feedback happened way sooner than I'd ever thought it could.
Great. I'm so glad to hear that. So a little bit about I want to hear a little bit about how the professional personal training has been able to support your progress in fitness and weight loss and just changing your overall health.
So at first when I came in, I was like, okay, so no expectations, I'm just doing this little thing, and after a month or so, the person who I'd seen most, who was the front desk person, was like, Margaret, you haven't made your personal training appointment yet. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that pressure. She's like, you should do it. It's part of your membership. So I did, and I was sort of like, oh, I don't really want any goals. But Adriana really was like, it's okay. We can, let's see where you are. And so she sort of assessed my overall level, and it was sort of like, okay, well, you have some weaknesses here, and you could do this and be stronger. And I was sort of like, okay, but don't rush me. It's like, okay, we don't have to rush you. You could set a small goal for a little bit, and it's like, okay, I can do that. And again, because I'd already had the no pressure positive part, I was sort of like, well, I can do a little bit. I can lift this weight. And And again, it's like, oh, it does matter if you just do it. So I already had the enjoying, liking it, and then I added the goals later, and then I started getting, my monthly trainings, and it's like, oh, look at this, you've lost this much fat and you've gained this much muscle, and I could also see when the personal training happened, I started getting more of a like, here's a program. So having a program of get your heart rate this high for this long, and I started seeing like, oh, when I do that, my heart rate's much stronger, and it's sort of like I recover much more quickly, and I could just and I can push the resistance up. It takes more work to get my target. I must be getting stronger. So having the program turn it into something with more discipline also gave me more reward.
Great.
So,
Really good.
I didn't know that would happen before.
Another surprise.
Right, another surprise.
So, my last question that I have for you, Margaret, is there anything you want to say to your peers about taking the next step to make fitness a part of their life as well?
Yeah, so being, I call it middle-aged, although I met someone the other day who was also calling herself middle-aged, and I was like, oh, you're like 20 years younger than that. But anyway, so adults who have life experience of decades and decades, it's really different. You can use your adulthood as a big support, not to give up, but sort of like, you know how to do things, and you can apply that to something that's just for you. It doesn't have to be all about making everybody else happy. So taking yourself on as someone who is worth attention and time, and feeling better and looking better is really fun. So it's not like, once you're out of your 30s or out of your 40s, it's not like too late. You can still get to feel really good about yourself.
Great, that's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's all we have for now. Signing out.